All right.
There we go.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. And again, thank you for joining us for this lunch and learn on communities, not cages. In CCA as well. I would love to be able to share a little bit about what our organization does and the legislative victories that we've had since starting an advocacy and organizing program within the Center for Community Alternatives. But yes, we will have a lot of time focused on the Earned Time Act specifically. Again, my name is Garrett Smith. I'm the statewide organizer for the Center for Community Alternatives, CCA. Just to tell you guys a little bit about CCA, so we support and build power with people and families who have been impacted by systems of criminalization and incarceration. The predatory nature that the system has against poor New Yorkers. So we're a statewide organization, but we have offices in Pacific locations. So Syracuse, New York City, specifically being Brooklyn for our adult recovery center, in Brownsville for our youth action center. And then in Rochester as well, we have an adult recovery center. Syracuse, we have an adult recovery center in the Freedom Commons housing program. But for our membership to be a CCA member is you have to be a person who is directly impacted by the system, and we define that as a person who is either formerly incarcerated, currently incarcerated, or a family member or loved one of a person who is formerly or currently incarcerated. So if you meet that requirement and you would love to be able to advocate with us for ending mass incarceration and criminalization of New Yorkers, you can be able to join in as a CCA member in our advocacy efforts. So CCA, how we work collaboratively with the direct services that CCA provides is our direct services help us look for the gaps in the system where we can interrupt those type of pipelines that lead to incarceration and support people who have been impacted. So gaps in the system, gaps in services, and seeing how those are set up legally to be able to make the reforms and revisions to laws that can be draconian by nature. So in our organizing and advocacy work, we fight to do this with changing unjust systems, structures, laws, and policies, and that's what we're here to talk to you guys about today. I'm here for that. So that's CCA and what we do, and then Communities Not Cages with the Earned Time Act is a campaign and bill that we are leading on with our advocacy and reform efforts. So just to let you guys know our success in what we do and how we lead with a person-centered approach and leading with the gaps that we see our members experience based on them reentering society and looking to reintegrate with their community. So here are some of the victories that we were part of with passage and signature where these bills became laws. So raise the age, which we are currently protecting, making sure that there's no rollbacks for that. Ban the box, bail reform, which a lot of folks may be familiar with. The Clean Slate Act, which automatically seals 2.3 million New Yorkers' records. And through our Court New York Deserves campaign, we were part of securing the Chief Judge Rowan Wilson's nomination and confirmation. He's huge support for us with the Second Look Act with undoing excessive sentencing, and we mobilized thousands of people into action across New York State. We try to go into all of the 62 counties because we understand that state policy, state laws impact everyone in New York, so everyone should be aware of it and be able to exercise their civic engagement rights, be able to advocate towards it, and let their leadership know what they feel and believe is best for New York and to help move New York forward. So we try to educate as many people about what we're doing and letting people know that what's happening in the prison system, within the court system, within the criminal legal system is very oppressive. It steals a lot of time from people. It gives people a virtual life in prison where they're could be 19 years old but sentenced to 113 years. So we're trying to let people know about this, also letting people know that a lot of what we see happening, when it comes to the criminal legal system is based on the 13th Amendment, where a person is once convicted is considered property of the state or federal or county government, depending on where they were convicted, and based on that, they are equivalent to a slave. So, based on these things, we see how slavery is being perpetuated through the prison system currently in America and within New York State. So this is what we fight for. This is where we try to get our victories in. We're liberating people from the traps and within the system. So here I want to give you guys some information just to let you guys know the numbers that we deal with and what New York actually is experiencing. So currently there's a little over 33,000 New Yorkers incarcerated across New York State prisons. And of that 33,000, roughly 75% of those individuals are from Black and or brown communities. Um, 98% of the convictions come through guilty pleas. So not verdict through jury or bench trials. These are through district attorneys, uh, really just negotiating a deal with a person who's in a desperate situation, person who's in jail, person who is strapped for resources, usually a person who is uh, uh, already living either check to check or just getting by. So they hang this over a person's head, usually using time, and that's where excessive sentencing comes in, but using time against the person. So they'll say things like, "Hey, this, if you get convicted of this it comes with at least 10 years, or at least 15 years, and then if you blow trial, you could get up to life, or you could get up to 25, so." A person, whether they're guilty or not, they would accept the deal just because they're scared of the amount of time that they would get otherwise. So that counts as just regardless of this, that counts as a win for the district attorney. And district attorneys run on elections and public safety. And one of the ways they try to quantify that is through the number of convictions. But what they don't tell people is that the number of people that they actually brought to trial, the number of people that actually had a discovery hearing versus the number of people that just took a guilty plea because they were trying to get back to their family. They was trying to, not pay as much money into lawyer fees or even, trying to bail out all of these different things that come into a person taking a guilty plea. They use that as leverage. So, these laws that I'm going to be talking to you about is a part of dismantling these efforts as well, where DAs can be more fair shooters. Basically, they can earn their convictions through court versus pressuring a person through a bad guilty plea negotiation deal. A lot of these things happen inside the jail where the person really never see their day in court. So these are what we're dealing with by the numbers. So that lets you know um, the pressure. 33,000 people is a lot. Um, a lot of them are there with excessive sentences, but they do have a release date. So I just want to start here. I won't spend a lot of time on these other two bills, but I do want to mention them to you, and then we will focus a lot of our time on the Earned Time Act. I would love to be able to open it up for question and answer, but I want to give you an overview just so you can understand more about Communities Not Cages as a campaign in its fullness. So the first bill that I want to mention to you is the Marvin Mayfield Act. This bill was named after one of our mentors within the advocacy movement, Marvin Mayfield, who passed away a few years back. But he was a part of the inception of Communities Not Cages. He was part of the creation of it as a campaign, very instrumental. He was a role model and mentor of mine. And when he passed, we wanted to rename this bill in honor of his legacy and to keep it as a reminder of what we're fighting for and the people who paved the way for us. So Marvin Mayfield is the name of this bill, which was previously the Eliminate Mandatory Minimums Act. So it still does the same thing that it was originally titled under. It's just a legacy bill now for us. So the Marvin Mayfield Act, what it will do is reduce the power of prosecutors to coerce plea deals. That's where I was talking to you about the 98% conviction rate. It will also reduce the amount of time people are sentenced to. So those excessive numbers, where it's a gentleman that's a member of CCA who at 20 years old was sentenced to 113 years. So we're talking about these type of issues. And what it proposes to do is, again, eliminate mandatory minimums, eliminate the 2 and 3 strike the law guidelines, and then also eliminate plea deal restrictions. This will also create a presumption against incarceration in all cases. So in actuality, a lot of what it will do is restore judicial discretion, where a judge can weigh the full merits of the case, also weigh in pre conditions that preceded the case, taking the full totality to make a determination of what's a proper sentence based on this person being duly convicted. So that's what we're saying is it shouldn't be these issues where a judge has his hands tied, his or her hands are tied. They will want to offer a different sentence for this individual, but they can't because of the way that the laws are currently set up. So the second look act is the other bill that I want to mention to you guys, and then we can dive a lot deeper into the Earned Time Act. So the second look act it provides incarcerated people with an opportunity for resentencing to address long and harsh sentences. A lot of these sentences were put in place under the Rockefeller drug law eras, and as well as the Truth in Sentencing law eras in the mid 90s. This was based on the 94 federal crime bill and the incentives that states had to adopt a similar model. So what this bill will do is it will, after 10 years or half of a person's minimum sentence, all incarcerated people will be eligible to apply for a reduction in sentencing. So they could have their case reviewed based on current societal norms, as well as the updates in the laws to see if they can have their sentence reduced through a resentencing hearing. The second look act will allow judges to review a separate judge than their original sentencing judge to review and reconsider excessive sentences. And then if a person was under age 25 or is now over age 55, there's a presumption of resentencing, which means they can automatically apply for a resentencing hearing because if they were under 25 when they were incarcerated, it means that they were going through court still with a underdeveloped or developing brain, because based on today's knowledge of science and human development, we know that the adult human brain doesn't fully develop until at or around age 26. So, for a person to go through court, technically with they're not fully developed, and to have an excessive sentence of 50 plus years, 20 plus years, that creates a presumption for resentencing because you sentence a person before they was able to even reach the full adult maturity. And then for 55, it's because of Doc's current information, where Doc's reports that once a person turns 55 while incarcerated, the likelihood of them having serious health ailments is exacerbated. It's the equivalency of just like every 1 year spent a person at that age spends in the community. The equivalent inside is about 3 to 5 years that they're aging. So it's a issue where a person can age in prison, die in prison. Now this is the Earned Time Act, and I want to pause here after sharing about the Earned Time Act because I want to open it up for questions. If folks had a chance to review the bill before the lunch and learn, or if they heard about it before and would like to ask questions that they may have already, would love to be able to do that. So the Earned Time Act. The goal is to reduce the amount of time people are incarcerated by expanding who can earn time, so earn good time, and then also earn merit time and increase the amount of time people can earn back overall. So, a person is, utilizing their time wisely and looking to transform and recover by utilizing programs, which by participating in the programs help with good behavior because you have to have good behavior to participate in the program. So you're earning good time through compliance, but you're also earning merit time through attending and graduating from vocational, rehabilitational, and or educational programs. So what the bill will do, okay? So this is what the bill does. It allows all incarcerated people, regardless of their charge, to earn good time and merit time. Okay. It increases good time to upwards to 50%, and it increases merit time to 25%. It makes good time presumptive and vested every year. So you do not lose your good time. Where right now, in the way good time and merit time is set up in New York State, a person can lose good time that they already earned. They can lose merit time that they already earned, and that to us is not fair. A person once they it's like you earned your degree, but because of an infraction after the fact, you now lose your degree. You don't lose something that you earned. So that's the protection where a lot of people would lose their merit time based on an infraction like it could be all kinds of infractions. It could be an infraction just talking back. It doesn't have to be something extreme. It could just be they're showing that you're not compliant in a way. Okay, so it increases the ways that a person can earn merit time. So you can earn it through attending rehabilitation programs. You can earn it through vocational programs, and you can also earn it through educational programs. So any of these areas where you're looking to enrich yourself, you can be able to earn time with that. And then also if opportunities to earn merit time, so this is where we look to where the bill will have teeth, where we look to enforce it with implementation into the facilities. So if opportunities to earn merit time are not available for everyone at a given prison, that those individuals are automatically entitled to it. So they will automatically get it. And this is a way to push for the prisons and the different correctional facilities in New York State to actually implement effective uh, maritime programs. So that's the way we try to enforce the law by putting it where you are one increasing your programs and increasing public safety, but we're also looking at it where by not doing that, you are giving the time to the individual because you're not putting yourself in a position to be able to really offer it, and we know that the facilities can do it, so it's just a matter of will. Um, so I want to pause here. I'll be happy to answer any questions around like updates or legislative strategy. Any questions around any details of the bill that you may want to know. Um, Anything like that. So I could pause here, and then Nathan, I'm not sure if you have access to everybody in the chat, but if you could help with if folks do have questions.
Yeah, folks want to put their questions in the chat. I'll stand by. While we wait on those, Garrett, I wonder, about this bill, are there sort of accountability? Is there accountability in there to ensure people with mental illness are not disproportionately excluded?
A person with mental health disabilities
Mhm.
being excluded from the Earned Time Act?
Right, or disproportionately.
No, actually, what we actually have as provisions within the Earned Time Act, because of our understanding with the um, correctional facilities with the 33,000, roughly 33,000 people incarcerated, is that the majority of people who are incarcerated has some form of a mental health condition or develop so it's and or so mental health condition or developmental disability or a dual diagnosis where it's substance use history. Um, because of this, the programs are tailored towards trying to adjust for the majority of people who would need the support in these areas because that goes towards our efforts with successful reentry and reintegration. So again, the overall principle of earned time is for a person to quantitatively show their rehabilitation, how they're reforming. They can actually document it. You can have it where the parole board can actually see and review a person's record to see how they progressed. You can see from the programs that they're attending, from their recovery journey, you see how they're actually progressing, which then also helps that individual because they're by the programs, the vocational programs specifically, being programs that teach transferable skills. So skills that they're not outdated once you get to the community. That also helps with reintegration and reentry. So a person is being developed while they're incarcerated, which is the best time, so to speak, a silver lining type of best time. I'm not saying that in any type of euphemism way, but it's the time for them to do that while they're in a controlled, secured environment where you can really focus on those things that you really need to repair and fix. And because the majority of people we know are the most vulnerable that are incarcerated, a lot of people have a mental health condition. They have undiagnosed traumas. A lot of people have developmental disabilities where they are somewhere on the spectrum. Um, that should say a lot as well about our current condition with people inside of correctional facilities. It seems like the most vulnerable of New Yorkers are inside of these correctional facilities. So I just wanted to clarify it. Yes, to summarize that um, the programs will be tailored towards the majority of the incarcerated population.
Yeah, thanks so much, Garrett. There's a question in the chat box. What's the difference between good time and merit time?
Yes, so essentially good time is compliance based. So, you're not having infractions. You are, you know, moving in accordance with the facility. You're not doing anything that is considered violations of the facility's policies. So being compliant is good time. Maritime is merit based, obviously is in the name, but it's based on you attending and completing programming. So, going to say dialectical behavioral therapy, whether it's individual or in a group setting, that's considered a maritime program. Going to if there's a plumbing program teaching plumbing as a skill trade, um, that's considered maritime programming. Going to in some of the facilities, CUNY, they have CUNY programs in some of the facilities. They also have like BARD Prison Initiative, which is in some facilities as well. Hudson Link for Higher Education is another one as an example. If you're attending any secondary education, that's considered maritime programming. So, and then what we're also offering this as an incentive, and this is also an incentive in response to halt solitary confinement being implemented, and then also the resistance to how to adjust for not using halt or not using, excuse me, not using solitary as a punitive tool for people to be compliant. So we added this combination to maritime and good time is that if a person is also attending maritime programs, so you have good time. So you can have good time without attending programs, you know. But if you are attending programs, you can earn additional good time for attending programs. So it's a way to incentivize a person moving into programs, and by being into the programs that's going to help enrich them and develop them and get them ready for when they reenter society, we're incentivizing it. And then by incentivizing it, it creates that layer of good behavior, and good behavior and compliance make a safer environment. It's just kind of, you kind of start to see the common sense take hold. And instead of basically using a stick with solitary, we're changing it where you use a carrot with offering additional good time for a person attending maritime programs. So that's where you see the connection to the two, but the difference is simply one is compliance based and one is um, merit based.
Garrett, do you have any sense of, and this can be in the news sometimes in terms of like the impact of staffing shortages or program
Yeah.
availability? Uh, Any thoughts
Yes.
on that?
So I was just actually at Coxsackie Correctional Facility this weekend, this past weekend, and they still have the National Guard in the facility, and that's the support with the ratio, the staffing ratios. Um, they're they're looking to hire correctional officers because of the shortage. And there's two issues that come into this from my perspective, just to answer this. Um, Two issues come into play. One, nobody really wants to be a correctional officer. It's not an appealing job. Is
Yeah.
not. So they can't really hire anyone. And two, um, they have a lot of not just correctional officers, but prison staff who, because of their union membership, they're able to um, utilize workers' comp to their advantage. So you have a lot of people who are technically employed on the books, but they're not working. So that also creates an issue with the hiring that docs can do. So they're faced with those two issues. One, there's not an appealing job, for people to want to take. And two, they aren't able to really hire because of the number of people who are technically on workers' comp. Um, our solution to this is to utilize the program aspect, because then you're hiring programmatic staff. So you don't really need to think of a increase in correctional officers, because then correctional officers will, their duties and responsibilities would be more so relegated to transports, maintaining the safety of the units, things of that nature, with just the flow and movement of the facility, but they're not required to do anything outside of maintaining safety in transporting of incarcerated individuals. So with programmatic staff now you have actual trained professionals, like you have trained mental health professionals, trained vocational specialists, occupational therapists, rehab therapists, think social workers, a lot of different professions that can now provide these programs, whereas you're limited right now, as of now, you're limited to uh, a, a, a skeleton crew when you think of the workforce right now within docs. Um, that's our solution. We see it now when we think of like programs like Hudson Link for Higher Education, BARD, CUNY, Columbia, Cornell is also provides these type of programs within the facilities. So we see that it's there. We also see it as well at the forensic level with recovery-based programs that are community oriented. So you could see the wheels already across the state. We're just trying to make sure that it's accessible in all of the correctional facilities.
does the bill deal with data collection in terms of how it's working equitably and its impact?
Yes. So there's a, a lot of this will be in collaboration with the state agencies though. Like Docs will be involved in helping us with data collection, but also Canny is involved, as well as the Justice Center. So, it will be a combination of where we get the data aggregated to us, but we we will have implementation check-in meetings. We usually have that once the bill is passed and signed into law. So that will be where we have our check-ins, which are usually quarterly. But that's where we will aggregate our data. But we also have community partners that will be involved that will help along this process. But those are like 3 to 5 year reviews, because we have to build it out, and then it takes a few years of studying it first, just to see if it's not one-offs. Um, but the Vera Institute is organizations that I'm thinking of that helps us with this, as well as the Second Chance Sentencing Project. So yeah, so that's where we will have those connections. But for now, the majority of data that we will get will be from the state agencies that will be responsible for implementation.
I don't want to dominate. If folks have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box there.
Okay. Also, while folks are thinking of questions to ask about the bill, we do have a lot of support in both houses. So we have 31 senators that are in support of the Earned Time Act that is co-sponsoring the bill. Just for legislative context, uh, for a bill to have full Senate or majority Senate support, you have to have at least 32 senators in support. So, we're one senator away of having majority support. We want to safely get to 36 senators. We do believe we're going to be able to accomplish this goal this legislative session. So just wanted to let you guys know though that we have a lot of strong grassroots support, coalition support. We have over 250 organizations a part of Communities Not Cages. So that helps us a lot with getting the support of senators, especially with the breadth of constituents that they have that's in support of Communities Not Cages. So we have 31 senators that's in support, and we have 63 uh, assembly members that are in support of of the Earned Time Act, specifically. And just for legislative context with the assembly, the number to get to is 76. So we're close. We're 13 assembly members away from having that appropriate number to have majority support in the assembly. But we would like to get to 81 as our safe number. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that we do have a lot of support for the bill in both houses.
And I put links to both the Assembly and Senate bill in the chat box for folks if they want to reference that. Garrett, what do you think are the barriers legislatively, like I see in the committee in
Mhm.
2025? There were two
Yeah.
nays, including Rollison. Any idea what, for example, Senator Rollison's objections are, or what sort of the legislative blockades exist around this bill?
Well, I would say that his objections are based on his locality and his district.
Mhm.
So he's historically hasn't been in support of our bills and the reforms that we're trying to do within the prison system. But that's based on his constituency, and he has to side with his voters. Sometimes it's just that simple, man. We met where sometimes they're even in agreement with the bills in principle, but it's just not a good look for them politically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because he covers Fishkill, right, in that area.
yeah. Fishkill Correctional Facility.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
That's right. I mentioned him by name because when we gave testimony on the Treatment Court Expansion Act, he was
Hmm.
the person that seemed in support of that. So I just wondered.
Yeah, but those are two different businesses.
Oh yeah, they sure are.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
when our members go out and talk to folks, talk to members, talk to their elected officials about
Hmm.
this bill, what would be helpful to help get it across the finish line?
I think especially in areas like, say, Rolliston's district, or like areas that are a little more conservative. I would say the focus would be on public safety and really understanding that through restorative justice. When you look at what the Earned Time Act will do, it's helping a person with reentry and reintegration. It's helping a person actually be a value add to their community, to society, helping them actually be successful to help others. Um, if we're looking at it from just a humane perspective, you can see that why like just ask yourself, why would you not want a person who has a release date? The majority of people of the majority of 33,000 people who are in uh currently incarcerated in New York State prison has a release date. They will be coming home. Okay. So this person is coming home. Why would you want to have this person who committed a crime, however it may be, whether they were wrongfully convicted or not, they were convicted of a crime and they're incarcerated currently for that? They're coming home. Why would you want that person to languish in a facility, to languish in this type of purgatory state while society moves all of these things, okay, and then just release them back into the community and say, go swim. Okay. When everyone knows now through technology being at your fingertips, everyone understands that poverty is the number one driver of crime. Okay. We understand that. We also understand that work is one of the main contributors to a person's level of recovery and their success with moving forward. And we also understand Shamsa's 8 dimensions of wellness, right? With understanding quality of life. So if you understand these things and you understand this is what prevents crime, this is what prevents recidivism, you will also understand that this is what prevents victims. Okay. This is what stops a person being a victim. Okay. Because poverty drives crimes. There's no such thing as a victimless crime. So any crime, okay, any crime, we're not talking about just like any crime, it has a victim at the end of that. Okay. If you are trying to promote public safety, the goal of public safety is to have less crime. In order to have less crime, we need to reduce poverty. Okay. And in order for a person to reduce poverty, because of the way America is set up, is through developing healthy skills, both mentally, through mental health rehabilitation, they're also their intellect and comprehension, that's education, and then the skills that they can actually provide in the community. So that's vocational programming. These things are needed to reduce the issues that we're talking about and we don't want to have being experienced in our communities. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just a matter of just kind of like looking at it as the bare perspective is almost everybody that is currently incarcerated has a release date. Okay. How do you want this person being, released back into the community? Do you want them to be at their best or do you want them to be at their worst? My vote would be having them at their best because then it helps everyone else. So that's what the Earned Time Act is set up to do. It's set up to actually rehabilitate a person while they're currently incarcerated.
It's a great answer, Garrett, and powerful messaging there for advocacy work out there. Thank you. Are there other questions? Feel free to put them in the chat box.
I would like to also mention this too. I can start to share my the other half
Please.
of my PowerPoint. Um, Let me just see here. Stop sharing.
I'm sorry. We have a participant asking if you could send the slides out afterwards. Is that
Yeah,
possible?
of
Yeah,
course.
great.
Well, what I wanted to share, I could do I could just share my screen like this. Um, I wanted to share with you this. It's our advocacy day that we're having in Albany on the 9th on Monday. We had to reschedule it um, because of the snowstorm. It was originally scheduled for um, January 26th, but we had to move it because of that. So we have this new date. We would love for if people want to join us in the Capitol, they can definitely do that. You just have to register to join so we can make sure you're in the appropriate lobby team. But we have these advocacy days, large scale advocacy days like this twice a year, once at the beginning of the year to start off session, and then at the end of session in May, or near the end of session in May. So those are our two large scale advocacy days, but we do have targeted advocacy days throughout the legislative session. You can join us using, let me just share the link, a way for you to join us and learn more about Communities Not Cages. We do have a coalition link that I will put in the chat for you. Does anybody have any questions around like how to get further involved in criminal justice reform efforts in general, or NAMI's involvement through the criminal justice with bills that they're leading on, anything in general, because I'm really involved in the Justice Roadmap of New York, which is like the housing. It houses the criminal justice reform bills that are currently in New York State that folks are advocating for. So, like the Treatment Court Expansion Act is an example of one of the bills on the Justice Roadmap. So. I just want to make sure because I can definitely answer any questions you guys have around these bills. I just want to make sure folks are getting the information that they uh, joined us for today.
So Garrett put some links there in the chat for everybody, links to his advocacy day coming up and more information about their coalition. Um, for folks on the call, NAMI New York State and crosses paths with Garrett often because we have a lot of policy overlap. And yeah, it's really appreciate all the work you're doing out there, Garrett. It's powerful and important.
Thank you. Well, if that's everything, I mean, we could give you guys a little bit back, a little time back from your with the lunch and learn.
Sure. So one more question. When will the recording be available and can we share it? Yeah, so these recordings are posted to our YouTube channel. James will send those out once he has those posted. And they're public. You can absolutely share these with anyone.
The other thing I would like to share too, if you would like for us to have a presentation, a Communities Not Cages presentation, also we collaborate to have a community events. If you would like to work with us through, one of your chapters, if you would like to bring it to your district, if most likely your legislator may be a co-sponsor of the bill. If you would like to collaborate with us to do something, please feel free to reach out. We always are looking to build the constituent base in different areas of New York State to make sure people can be involved and made aware of these reform efforts. So if you are interested, you could definitely reach out to me. You can put my information in the chat as well. You can follow up with me via email if you're interested to connect further.
Yeah. Again, thank you so much for your time today, Garrett, and for all this info. Really appreciate it. Hope you have a great advocacy day. And yeah, thanks again.
Absolutely. You guys have a good day.